I'll do my best. Yes, I'm a big fan. Like,
Duh.
is your podcast called Jump in a Hole? Because I just think that would be really funny.
That's called My Life
But
now.
anyways,
She
I
knows
will
our
look for
history?
The CDs tomorrow. Yep. Okay. Signing off now. Awkwardly.
That was pretty awkward.
Well, our name was pretty awkward. Jump in a hole.
No, she was.
Why would what?
She said she was awkward, and I'm agreeing with her.
Oh no, she wasn't awkward. She made us feel better about ourselves by remembering our stupid band name.
Yeah, you did remember our band name. That was Jared's idea.
That I won on a bet.
As I was mad. Why did I bet you? And do you remember why I lost? What the contest was?
No, it was just we flip a coin and you agreed, and I said if you're wrong, I'm gonna pick the name and our names are gonna be Jump in the Hole, and you're like, okay. And then we flipped the coin, and then it landed in my favor, and from that moment on, we were known as Jump in a Hole.
So we changed our band name from Revolver
Stupid name.
to Jump in a Hole
Better name.
based on a coin toss.
Based on a coin toss.
Well, you know what? Jared, I'm going to rethink my friendship with you if I had a time machine.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me.
I'd go back and be like, listen,
band
name's going to suck.
You're gonna go back to old Donnie.
You have to pick.
Donnie! Old Donnie. This is future Donnie. Cancel your friendship with Jared.
You have to do it now. You have to do it now before
now.
your band name sucks. Actually, Jump in a Hole is epic.
It was epic.
In fact, if we ever do music together again, it has to be called Jump in a Hole.
Yeah.
No one likes that. Like, I mean, everyone will love that name because it's so explicitly rated E.
E for everyone.
I don't know if it's E for everyone.
What's wrong with
it's going to get the explicit just because of the band name.
What's explicit
It's
about Jump in the Hole?
Like, it's encouraging loose sexual behavior.
Yeah, if your mind's in the gutter. Clearly that's where yours is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What were you thinking whenever you named us Jump in the Hole?
I was literally thinking
Jump in a hole.
how hilarious it would be to name a band Jump in the Hole. That's it.
Not
That is
Jump in the
what
Hole.
young Jared was thinking. This is funny. And that's the extent of it. That's
I'm
it.
sending her this message.
That's fine.
She's just gonna
This
get it.
is another podcast, episode 13, nighttime edition, because it's Christmas.
I'd like to call this another podcast after hours.
After hours with another podcast with our host, Donnie,
Yes, co-host.
and
Donnie.
other co-hosts.
Actual host, Jared.
I'm Red Ryan, also known as Jared. I mean, my close friends call me Jared. If you aren't close to
If you
me,
get really close to Jared, you get called Dingus.
yes, if I'm close to you, I call you Dingus. That's what happens. And it's a term of endearment, so there you go. That's what we're doing. But this is our late night episode because Christmas is coming and we're going to spend time with our families, so we're doing this now
Yep.
with a seltzer. in
Merry
hand.
Christmas, Jared.
Merry Christmas, Donnie.
I'm sad I'm not going to see you.
This is a great moment for a wide shot. We took out the wide shot this episode.
And you
we
edit
cheers.
it where like I go like this, and then you go like, and it like goes back and forth, and then they don't see them connect.
Yep.
How funny would it be if we just had a fake arm,
That just came.
like you had a mannequin arm holding a fake beer?
That'd be really funny. But we didn't have the props ready. What's your hat say? This actually is my first rodeo.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, so whenever you're around my people,
Okay.
they say, this ain't my first rodeo, meaning like I know how to ride a horse, or I know how to do this.
Yeah.
But this hat says, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
This actually is my first rodeo.
Yeah, but I actually love this hat, though, because of that. Because it's kind of my motto. So you have to take risks in your life and do stuff you don't know how to do. Mm-hmm. And so with this hat on, it's kind of like it's my license to make mistakes.
License to make mistakes, that's good.
Which means it's my license to move forward.
Yeah, license to move forward and to make risks. Or to take risks.
Yeah, we've been
life.
talking tonight after recording the episode previously about it being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And about how every time we do this, it gets a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah, because we grow a little bit more and people are getting a little bit more in tune into the people that we actually are. And we're opening ourselves to more opinions
Yeah, criticism.
and judgment. Mm-hmm. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we are recording 2 episodes in the same night, and Donnie has chosen to change his shirt and his hat because that's the smart thing to do. I elected to just say whatever.
Yeah, I brought... this is actually kind of for me, though, because I don't like it whenever he puts up the episode and it has a thumbnail from a previous episode.
How'd you do that?
Because it confuses me about which one I'm clicking on.
Yeah, and it probably confuses other people. But I'm in the post production of this stuff. I'm a one man show right now, so I spend a lot of hours editing our episodes, and then at the end of it, the last task is title and thumbnail.
Yeah, well, that's my department.
And you know what happens at the end of the night?
You're really tired, and you just do whatever
You're
you
really
gotta do.
tired, and you're like, "What? That works."
It looks like... I know.
You know?
Well, I'm not trying to take a dig at you. I really appreciate the work you do on this.
Oh no, I didn't take it as a dig.
But let's not break the fourth wall anymore. Let's not look at the camera. Let's not talk to those people. Let's just talk to you. Talk to me.
Okay.
Because it's really easy. Like the thing that we loved about the reason why we decided to turn the cameras back on was because
We were having a pretty good conversation, and
yeah.
we just wanted to turn it into an episode.
So, I think what we were talking about is what matters a lot to us is vulnerability and being ourselves at the risk of all the criticism that we're asking for by putting ourselves out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that because for a long, long time, and I've touched on this on previous episodes, but I've been afraid to make content because of how people will react to it.
But so that's that's making it for them, not for you, right?
Yeah, it's trying to satisfy too many opinions. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's trying to make sure that. I mean, I am kind of a people pleaser in a sense where my wife's calling, and I have to answer this, and then I'll just cut this out. Hello?
You know, I really love that you put your wife first, like that. I admire you for doing that. You know,
For answering the phone?
well, yeah. I think, you know, in some ways, it would be expected that would be an okay time for you to not.
Right.
You know, sorry, honey, I was doing that, but you put her first, even in that.
Well, we're kind of in the spot where I have to spend a lot more time away from home than I want to because I'm trying to make dreams happen that require a lot more time than I would prefer them to. And so like moments like that where she's calling and we're spending more time away from each other than I would want. Mm-hmm. When I answer that call, I get a little bit more time with her.
Yeah. But she's good to you for that, and that's also,
No, she's phenomenal at supporting my most ridiculous dream.
Mm-hmm. No dream is ridiculous, I don't think. Because you're only here once, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to die soon.
We're not going to die soon, but we will die eventually.
In the scope of
Grand scheme of things.
Yeah, like our lives are like little tiny blips. And like this podcast, even if it was the biggest thing in the world, even if one of my albums was like mega super duper platinum, whatever, it would just be some little flash in the pan that will blow out like a candle.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And so our lives, because they're so rare and so short, they're infinitely valuable. Do you feel like, well, number one, I know that you feel like your time on the phone with your wife was precious. That's why you picked it up. And you've been married for 10 years and it's still like that for you.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that like she loves you and your dream is important. So you say ridiculous, but I don't say ridiculous. I say that if you're not doing this, you've already lived as if you've died. You're living like a dead self. You're not alive. You know what I mean? And she wants you to be alive because she loves that Jared. She loves the alive Jared.
Yeah. No, I mean,
she's not turning you into something that you're not and trapping you into some sort of box.
No, she's not at all.
She's saying, I only want the real Jared.
Yeah. And the real Jared requires time with family, time to pursue a dream that I've wanted for, oh my God, so long. But it's required like people that have the same passion as I do. We talked about this earlier where it's like you can pursue something, but if you don't have people that want the same thing or are willing to put in the same amount of time as you, it's hard to get it done by yourself. So if you surround yourself with people who want the same thing you do, and you guys have to be accountable between each other, it's more likely to happen. And not only that, but like if you aren't enjoying the process, then it's dead on arrival. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the work is its own reward.
Right.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. No, it's like the grind is its own reward.
Yeah. If you don't like the grind, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right now, I've put a ton of time into this, what we're working on now, and it hasn't produced much financially.
$25.
$25.
Yeah.
But it's produced a lot as far as
I don't
like...
think it's paid for the Twisted Teas that we've bought.
No, tonight. Just tonight. Just tonight.
Yeah.
Just tonight. Hasn't paid for those. But the satisfaction of knowing that like being just ourselves and creating content with that has produced something that somebody is like enjoying watching is satisfying. In the moment that this grows into something that matters, I'm probably gonna cry hard.
Well, I think it already matters, which is, it's one of those things that I can empathize with that big. I don't know if you cry a lot.
Oh, I'm a softie. I'm a softie for sure.
Well, but I want to tell you something is that I always was too. And people don't, from what I understand, I was watching some Modern Wisdom podcast and this guy was on there being like, I don't remember the last time, or like there were years where he had forgotten how to cry.
Forgotten how to cry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when we record these things, I don't think of it like, it's hard not to think of it as like, oh, well, Zach's out there and Nate's out there and they're going to probably watch this and then
Yeah, our friends.
you know, whoever the people that aren't our friends that are listening now that we see, like watching the analytics, we can't help ourselves but look at those and see like, you know, there's people actually watching these things all the way through, and that changes how I kind of am on when we're having these conversations a little bit, and I really don't want it to.
What do you mean by like? So I'll share with you the analytics, and then it gets in your head where you're like,
Yeah, I kind of want to forget that there's cameras,
okay,
like all the way. I want to, and then I don't even like. I'll listen to them back, but it's not because the value that this is for me. It's already meaningful because, well, I love you.
right.
I love you so much. Like, you are my best friend.
I'm your current best friend.
Yeah. You've never stopped being my best friend.
Really?
Yeah. I have 100 best friends, but Jared, you've been so tolerant of me learning all these things in my life, and you've always tried to make every time we hung out positive. I don't ever remember, it has not happened one time where I didn't want to spend time with you.
Really?
It's never happened. I know I annoyed the shit out of you at some point. For some reason. You know, I know you've been upset with me, but I remember the hardest time that our friendship had was my fault. We were 19.
Okay.
We kicked one of our friends out of our Christian worship cover band.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah, I know. What you're
And then
talking
you went with him.
about. Yeah.
And it was me and what was going to be my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And I, for a brief period, didn't have you in my world.
Yeah. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be in your world. It was just like
It was just hard because I went to school.
It was
and-
like man, how can I describe this moment? It's like you choosing to reject someone that I didn't want to reject, I guess.
Yeah, we were divided over whether or not
I was
it was okay to do
divided,
that.
and I didn't know what to do other than to go with the person that wasn't rejecting the other person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, and the whole
It
thing,
wasn't like I didn't want to be your friend or maintain friendship. It was like I was put in a hard spot,
Yeah.
and I just went with the guy that wasn't rejecting someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually do know what you mean.
Okay.
And that is such a big brain move. I'm going to try to say it back to you the way I think that you meant it.
Yeah.
You took a look at me. Now, the reason why we kicked this dude out of the band was that we were in a Christian worship cover band
Right.
that would go play for hundreds of kids below the age of like 12.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy was smoking weed. And back then, it wasn't even close to legal in Oklahoma.
Right.
So it was not only just like a thing Christians didn't like, it was also Christians in the Midwest didn't like.
Right.
It was also illegal
Yeah.
at the time. We were in front of all these kids. And I was afraid of him because of that.
You were afraid of him because he was
He was associated directly
with you,
with me.
and you were afraid of how that reflected back on you.
Yes, well, on us as a group.
Okay.
I was concerned that we were going to lose the ability to make that money, and that we were going to lose the ability to be in front of people. I thought for some reason, well, and understandably, I thought that that we needed to protect our reputations in front of those people.
Right. Makes sense.
And so-
I get it.
Whenever I think we gave this person a chance to like not, and they just said like, forget it, I'm out. So it wasn't so much of a you're out as it was we've reached a
wall.
yeah, we've reached a point where we have to
Yeah.
split. And then you saw that happen and you said, I know that even though this person smokes weed, I'm going to love them. And I don't think that you're being loving anymore.
Sure.
You're being judgmental and not understanding. And I think, no doubt about it, this person was being an asshole. Outside of that.
Sure, yeah.
And I love him to death. So I still think he's
Sure.
awesome. So it's like, it's kind of like, we have our friends and one guy's like the dumb guy and one guy's like the sports guy and one guy's like the asshole and then one guy's like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have all those characters in our group
Yeah.
from that age.
Which one was I?
If it was that
Which
70
character was I in
on that
in
70s show?
Yeah.
This is how we talk about our friendships. And whenever on that 70s show, you're Foreman.
I'm Foreman?
You're Foreman. I'm Hyde. Ben is definitely Kelso. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then whoever this person was not in the group. You know what I mean?
I see.
They were like the asshole who like picked on us.
I see. Do you remember in that moment where we were like
He was like the older sister, like Foreman's older sister.
he was like Foreman's older sister?
Well, metaphorically, like in the way that she was rude to Eric all the time, or she
Okay.
was rude, but she was still like attractive, and people wanted to be around her. And she
Wait, you just called me Eric. I don't understand this. this play.
yeah. But I'm just trying to find a personality that kind of fits the characters from that '70s.
Maybe
show.
he was Eric's dad.
No, he's too. That was definitely not. That was your dad. Your dad
Okay.
was Eric's dad.
Anyways, but being in this band that we were in, do you remember like going to these camps, being like the band for all these like
Yeah, and it was a lot
kids
of
and
pressure.
personalities, and seeing us sit on stage and like play music for them, and then we leave the arena and go out into the real world, which is just the campgrounds,
Right.
and then being like, oh,
Yeah.
camp band,
Yes.
come hang out with us.
And I felt like a Greek god.
I know, right? Like it was like,
Like
our
we were
our
16.
our sense of
we were
like
camp
what
counselor
fame
age.
might feel
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like it was a really cool experience.
Right.
Because you could walk around this campground
Yeah.
knowing that every single person there recognizes your face.
Well, I was in love with that.
I was in love with that too. It was so much fun.
I wanted to protect it so bad,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think that I was emotionally intelligent enough to navigate that situation and not lose you in that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I think you literally just said, you're just doing this because you're with, what's her name?
That is what I thought.
Yeah.
That is legitimately what I thought.
And that's not actually what was happening, but it was kind of what's happening. Well, part of it was hers. It wasn't ours.
It was hers, and
We
you
had a
were
band, she
dating.
needed a band.
You were dating her, and
Yeah.
and whatever. I mean that makes sense. You were being a good boyfriend in the end of it. I mean it makes perfect sense.
We were all in a weird place.
We were all in a weird place, but those memories, being like in a camp band where the whole camp knows who we were,
Yeah, there's probably like for 4
stick
weeks,
out to me
500 new kids every week.
gigantically.
Yeah,
To where like we would leave the camp and I would go to like Jamba Juice and
Yeah.
some kid would recognize me.
yeah, because it was 1,000 kids this summer.
Yeah.
and it was around our hometown, so it was like, you would run into these people. They probably don't remember us now, but some of them have the T-shirts and the CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even have a CD anymore. I am bad at keeping my own.
I have a copy of it digitally on a computer somewhere. I
Yeah.
know for sure, and I'm sure we could call.
Danielle.
Yeah.
Or-
Well, we can. Nobody knows which Danielle it is. But we
well, I
could call
can
it.
cut that out whenever I want it.
Yeah, don't leave it in. Hopefully, she'll see it.
She knows that we're talking about her,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a crazy time, and it's crazy how like it all.
But I will never let something like that happen again.
No, but I wouldn't either.
And I met you when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I remember what happened.
You remember the actual moment you met me?
Yes. I might be inventing it, but I have core memories.
Let's pretend that you didn't, and you fill me in on what that moment was.
Okay. I have core memories from the thing before Kids on the Move. There was Kids on the Move, which was like 5 years old and up. Mm-hmm. And there was the class before it just down the hall. You walk into the door. There were 2 doors, one up next to the puppet stage, and then there was the door back here, and then there were toys all along the walls. These large Fisher-Price toys.
Yep.
And one of them was the Fisher-Price tool set, which was like a workbench and a place to put the hammer, the screwdriver, and the fake saw. And there was the fake wood and then the fake nails that went into the fake wood. And you were playing with that shit.
Okay.
And I came over and I was like, give me that! And I stole it.
Okay. How did I react?
That's just what you told me in our childhood that was your first memory of me. Was stealing the Fisher-Price hammer from the Fisher-Price tool set.
And what did I don't remember this at this point.
And then the actual memory that I have, like, I think I invented that memory because you told it to me.
Oh, okay.
But the actual memory I have from that classroom was me and you, and we were supposed to play with the toys, and then there was the chairs, and there was the puppet stage.
Yeah.
And backstage of the puppet stage, behind it, you weren't supposed to go.
Oh, I remember this.
Okay?
Okay.
You know, the purple guy who was like,
Mr.
look at all the
Eugene.
animals.
Yep.
Jesus loves everybody. Fucking, we went behind there, and we saw him, like...
Yeah, I remember this very vividly.
With no legs?
We are little kids, and we see these puppets entertaining us all freaking day,
and they
or
were real to us.
all
They're
during
like-
our class. And they were like, and we were like, what happens
What?
behind there?
Yeah.
We go behind there, and we see puppets just...
Yeah, they were all dead. Like dead Muppets.
All dead.
And no
It is
legs. Because we never knew.
No
They didn't have
legs.
legs.
And I'm scared. I mean, it was a scary sight seeing these live characters
Right.
entertaining us during church, and then we go behind the scenes
like,
and see that they all deceased while they weren't entertaining us.
But I did.
They were gone.
But it was kind of like a horror film, and then it was like, but it had great reward because there was a giant bucket of Tootsie Rolls.
Oh yeah,
that, like,
behind the stage.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
candy that they would like, you know.
Did we grab it? I can't remember.
I think I didn't have the guts to do it because we got caught. It was always like, hey, get out of there.
Hey, get out of here! Don't
Yeah.
see those dead puppets,
Right.
kids.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to see the Bartimaeus suit. You know.
Yeah. That you just rebirthed a memory from my childhood.
Yeah,
where
and it wasn't-
I went behind the stage and saw these dead puppets on the wall.
Yeah, that was me and you.
That's crazy.
We did that.
Yeah, we did do that.
That was me and you together, and that was crazy. And those moments were so important.
They were so important. Yeah, you said that the memory that you remember of us first is you stealing the hammer from me.
You told me I did that, and that checks out.
Well, I've blocked it out at this point. I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were an ass whenever we were little kids because you stole my shit while we were like, I clearly had it first. And I do, even though I don't remember physically stealing the hammer, I do remember playing with those toys. Mm-hmm. And for sure, that sounds like something I would have done to you. Not on purpose, not maliciously, just because we're 3.
Yeah, because we're 3. You don't.
Yeah, or 3.
You don't
or
do
4, I
anything
think
maliciously
4
when you're
years,
3.
yeah.
You're just doing it because you want everything and you don't want anybody else to have anything.
But it also speaks to something crazy about you that has been so beautiful in my life, our entire lives, is that you didn't hold that against me. Even then, you were cool about that shit, and you weren't holding a grudge. And I'll tell you that to this day, I hold these ridiculous grudges that I have to do work to let go of.
Really?
Yeah.
You talk pretty highly about me on this podcast, and I just wanted to be clear that I'm not like this holy grail of a human. I just your
No.
perception paints me in a picture of...
Well, it's easy to do. It's easy to do because you've always forgiven me.
I can say this at least, is that when it comes to life for me, I've recognized that it's a lot easier to live happy if you don't focus on negativity.
Yeah.
You know, like don't focus on how people have wronged you. Don't focus on why your life sucks.
Right.
Find the positive. Figure out what makes you happy. Figure out the people that make you happy and focus on that. Your mind and what you focus on will literally alter every single moment in your life.
Yeah, it does. And like my mom said exactly what you're saying to me like all the time. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't wrong, but I didn't necessarily need that from my mom, but you showed it to me. And that's maybe by accident. I'm not giving you credit for that.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
just
Don't,
saying-
because like
I'm just saying that around you gave me space to fuck up royally so much. And I wasn't given that space to anybody. And I still have a hard time doing that. And so to me, I always feel this debt of gratitude to you because you've made space for me. Maybe not because you meant to, just because you're just like a happy-go-lucky guy or whatever. But whatever it was makes you so valuable to me. And I am not the only one person that thinks that. And it's not, and I don't think that people around you may not be able to articulate it like I am, but I've had a long time to think about it. And so I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is made up or that it's like putting you on a pedestal, because I'm not.
I don't deserve to be put on a pedestal.
I'm not putting you on one. But what I am saying is that you've proven to me so many times that I can trust you, and that when I come to you, you are going to celebrate my victories and mourn in my defeats. And that's like, that's why I love you. It's like, we're going to have each other as friends, even if we don't spend time together.
Right.
We know that. When I tell people about my best friends, there's a short list, and everyone's on it. There's a lot of people that I'm like, this person is so valuable to me, but nobody has proved it for 35 years or 32 years. But you have. And like Matt is on that list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben's on that list, but they ain't here right now.
Right.
And that's not because they couldn't be. That's because they didn't call. They didn't ask. And I'm not comparing them. They're my best friends too.
Right.
You know. But what we have is this thing where like we can get together and talk.
Yeah.
About anything. And I know that you're going to take it in good faith. And you know that I'm going to take whatever you say.
Right.
As great as possible. Because I
Right.
know that at your core, you just want the best for people around you. You know?
Yeah.
And we mess up all the time. We do terrible things, but you know, I feel like my big sin has always been thinking there was a right way to do it, and there was only one right way to do something. Mm-hmm. And then judging everybody else around me for not doing it that way. Mm-hmm. Because I was putting that pressure on myself.
Right.
And you always came by and said, nah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
You don't got to do that. But you didn't know that you were saying that. You just lived it. So it's not like you, I don't know, that you're some guru. I'm
not a guru. I'm not like
Not at all.
a know-it-all. I make so many mistakes. Even in my marriage and with my kids. Like I'm far from perfect.
Yeah. I don't think that you're not perfect. I know you're a dingus.
Yeah, I am a dingus.
But-
I'm a major dingus. I've made so many mistakes.
But here, you know that you can be a dingus, and I'm going to be like, hey, if you're not tending to that part of your life, you need to go be less dingusy. But we trust each other.
Right, yeah. No, yeah.
But the dingus can come out, and you go,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you kind of.
We allow the dingus to appear and know that the dingus doesn't define who you are. You know what I mean?
our
Like,
value
who
is
I
not
am. Or
based
you know what I
on-
mean?
On,
like,
on the dingleberries.
Yeah. Your presence as a human is not based off your worst moments. It's you know, if you have a close person,
Yeah.
they know the depth of the
Right.
person that you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of friendship is it's crazy how necessary having a friend like that is.
No, it's super
And
necessary.
I do not know very many people that have a friendship like yours and mine.
No, it's definitely a rarity, and as I've already said in previous episodes, it matters a lot as far as like maybe just for me, but I think this could relate to a lot of people. But it matters a lot that I maintain a healthy relationship with my wife, with my kids, and with my friends.
You seem to have ordered your priorities in a way.
Right now, I wish I could get more time with my wife and my kids because I've been in a more financially straining period in my life than I have been in a long time, and that's because I'm putting a lot of time into a dream that doesn't make money, which is is like content and stuff like that. So when I'm making content, I'm taking away the opportunity to make money that pays the bills, but I'm still paying the bills, but like not
Sure.
making extra money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're not
like
putting the cushion in. I know what you're talking about. You're taking a risk with your life.
I'm taking a risk and pursuing a dream.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that step, like I'm the happiest I've been. Just like with the idea that the possibility of this dream freaking happening, that makes me more happy than me just like grinding on something I hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well, man, I don't know how to tell you this. It's like
I'm
we've just been doing that at the same time.
doing that at the same time. I'm sending my kid to school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure we have groceries. I'm making sure our bills are paid. And in my spare time, which God, my wife is so awesome for allowing me to spend so much time on this dream that isn't a reality but could be.
Mm-hmm.
But it requires me losing a little bit of time with my kids, but like I'd rather lose time creating a scenario where I can get more time with them next year rather than just like grinding an endless job that just pays the bills and that's the it. That's the end. Like that's how it works continually.
Yeah.
There is no like upside. Do you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Well, I know because I went through a time in my life that our friendship has always flexed. There's always been hey, if Jared is too busy to call me or I'm too busy to call him, we don't hold it against each other.
No.
There's always been freedom.
Like the other day, you texted me about a show that you had, and I legitimately, no lie, just forgot to respond.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't ask anything more of you. Actually, I don't ask anything of you because your presence is a gift. Mm-hmm. And you have made me feel the same way. Mm-hmm. When we are together,
that reminds me of a moment so my grandma died.
Right. I remember.
Okay. And this is grandma, on my dad's side, and I was going through the funeral, and I wasn't feeling a lot. As far as like emotions, like she was already like pretty much gone for like a couple years, and we get through the sermon, and we go to the burial. Haven't cried at all, and then we get there, and then I turn around and I see you,
I remember that.
and for some reason, just seeing you there, just made the tears flow. I couldn't control it. I don't know what happened, but just seeing your presence just wrecked me.
Yeah. Do you think that was because maybe it was like there's somebody who I can feel around, like, and be safe? Or
I don't know what it was. I mean, my wife was there, and I didn't cry. It was just like maybe it was like a friendship that was there while she was there. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
yeah.
And I can't explain it exactly, but like literally seeing you in that moment as my grandma was being buried is what got me.
Man, I remember that, and I remember Jim.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm forgetting your grandma's name, but
Barb.
Barb.
Yep.
I remember Barb and Jim because they weren't just your grandparents. I got to go to Jim and Barb's once,
Yeah.
twice. The first time was in Branson. Your
Yeah.
family took me on vacation with you
Yeah.
one time.
Did we go to Silver Dollar City?
It was epic. I have
Yeah.
no idea. I don't
it
think
was
we
epic.
did.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, I don't think we went to Silver Dollar City. I think we just went to their condo. And I remember late at night playing tennis together.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I had a black shirt that said Trans Am on it. In yellow with the screaming chicken on it. And I had 2 Trans Am wristbands because that was the punk rock thing to wear. That was the trip where we were riding back in the SUV that your mom always drives. And
The
you
Lexus.
fell asleep. Yeah, it is an RX 330. And you fell asleep with your head on the little window. The little, like, strange little window. It's like in the back seat because it was such a cramped back seat for an SUV. And your dad was like, "Hey, Donnie, watch this." He goes,
in my head what?
slid to the front, yeah, and your head went like this. Shabam! And you went, this is exactly what you did. Your dad, I can't believe your dad did this to you. Like, it was a serious, like, head trauma. Your dad, you went exactly like this. Dad!
Dad, why'd you do that? I was sleeping.
You were so mad.
Dreaming about
I would have been mad too. That
things.
was crazy. It was like the craziest thing that could have happened. But I remember that as being the funniest. Like, I was laughing at you and terribly because it was just you getting your head bluntly smashed against the window of a 2005 Lexus. But
that's fine. You know what this
But I
reminds me
remember-
of
yeah.
is, okay, there's this one moment where
But your grandma and grandpa were kind of mine too. And so when my grandma and grandpa, and then I'll let you get back to this. Don't forget it.
Yeah, I won't.
When my grandma and grandpa died, you weren't there. And it's not because you couldn't be there. It's not because you didn't. We were kids. Mm-hmm. And your parents weren't going to go to my grandparents' funerals because my parents were 4 hours from their hometown. So when I would go out there, I would be really alone.
Yeah.
And when my grandma Doris died, which is my grandmother on my father's side, I couldn't cry either until something made it real to me. Like, I went through the whole funeral and was wondering why I wasn't sad grandma was dead.
You're right.
Until she mentioned this one thing that my grandma used to do to me. She used to roll the knuckles on my hands when she'd grab your hands and then she'd roll your knuckles, and it's so uncomfortable when somebody does that to you. And she would laugh at you while you were like, "Grandma, stop!" You know. And somebody started talking about that shit. It was Kindle. Not that it matters, family, but Kindle started talking about that, and that's when it happened. I could finally feel the loss of my grandma because I was never going to get my knuckles rolled by Doris again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when my other grandma died and when my grandpa died, it was harder to connect to those feelings. And I'm not saying that I was a catalyst of any of those memories, but maybe something like that was a part of that. I don't know, but I remember my little cousin Jordan, who is close to me like you are.
With Josiah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were as close to Josiah as I was with Jordan. I still am with Jordan. Jordan helped me work through anger with my grandma on the other side. But the people around us allow for different things, for sure.
Yeah.
And I wished if I'd have had you around at that time, and maybe you would have had a memory with my grandma that probably would have
Done the same thing.
Done the
maybe.
same thing.
I don't know. I mean,
allowed me to like access a little bit more of that.
yeah.
I don't know. But okay, what were you getting ready to say? I hate to. I know it's gonna be impossible for you to recall what you were trying to say, but
No, I remember it pretty clearly. There was this. You were talking about a memory that you had with my dad hitting my head against the window.
your dad loves you, by the way. It's not
no.
like abusive. He was just
No, my dad was
hilarious.
never abusive. He was a top tier father. He was fantastic.
He was constantly threatening to fart on my pillow. That was
No,
he never pulled it off.
He was great and has always been great. But there was this one moment, me as a kid, where I was feeling okay. Let me paint the picture. Your mom was taking us to Brahms. Okay.
Always.
Through the drive-through.
Brahms, yeah.
And she was like, "Jared, do you need anything? Do you want some food?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." And you were like, it's like, no, he probably needs some food. And I was like, no, I don't need any food. And so she goes to the window
Yeah.
and orders 2 hamburgers. Okay.
Okay.
And me hearing you talk,
Yeah.
saying, no, Jared needs some food.
Yeah.
And then her going to the window being like, all right, I'll take 2 hamburgers. It's me as a kid thinking, oh, well, she ordered me a hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay. So we leave the drive-through. We've got 2 hamburgers. She
Yeah.
hands a bag to you.
Yeah.
And you grab the bag, and then you hand me a hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're both
Eating
hamburgers. After I said to your mom,
I don't want one.
I don't need anything.
Yeah.
And then she looks back at us and goes, hey, Donnie, can I get my hamburger?
yeah.
And I'm eating her hamburger.
Yeah.
And I'm eating it, and I look up going, oh no.
My mom was nice though. She's chill, wasn't she?
I ate her hamburger.
Yeah.
Yes, no, she was super nice. But I could see her eyes. She looked back at me like this. She was like,
Okay. Why are you eating my hamburger?
yeah. No, just like, okay. And she didn't say anything.
I thought I was the boss.
But me as a little
The hamburger
kid,
boss.
eating her hamburger and her being super chill about it, because
Yeah.
she was super chill about it. She did not make me feel bad.
Yeah.
But my internal feelings were just like exploding, like, oh my God.
I've crushed the human's food.
I have just eaten her hamburger.
Yeah.
And I will continue to finish it because at this point,
Right.
she didn't ask for it back, and I'm 8 years old or whatever. But that moment sticks out. That moment sticks out to me because
In my
I
head,
felt so bad. But she handled it so cool. I mean, she did a great job of not making me feel bad. It was just me making myself feel bad.
Yeah. Well, anytime
because I ate her hamburger.
Isn't that like crazy though? That anytime you do feel bad, it's not someone else.
Yeah, no, that
It's
happens.
you on the inside feeling
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, this idea that you can manage your perception of reality
Right.
to produce a better result in your emotional state, that's kind of been a staple of both of our families.
Yeah.
But like I said, you exemplified that to me, and oftentimes in ways that like I still look up to today. Like we would have not overcame the difficult parts of our lives where we were apart emotionally.
Right. If either of us chose to
yeah.
hold grudges towards each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have these like right and wrong programs in my mind that are like, this is the right way to be, this is the wrong way to be, this is a wrong person because they're doing the wrong thing, they're out. Situation, your presence is not the only thing that has killed that, but it has helped.
Right.
And just like talking through this stuff tonight, and we've talked a little bit about what had happened to me. My band played a show yesterday. That was a significant one for me emotionally, and a significant one for us as a team, for my dream, lots of stuff. And I played the show with other bands
Right.
that have been on the scene as long as I have. And I held grudges. I had a grudge with almost every band that was there that day. A reason to be like, you know,
You're right.
that person can go to hell because they this, and this to me.
Right.
Or they did.
Right.
And, man, like that, all those different things, all those different hurts, the little crazy shits that happened, all those little things like watching you let mine go. The things that I did to you, the things that I did that were inappropriate or out of fear. Like I was always afraid of something. That's why I was acting like a jerk, but afraid of something, and you letting that go is inspiring me to be like, I am never going to hold that grudge about this dumb little shitty thing that is making me somehow estranged from these people that love me. And no doubt about it, they do. Like there are, I don't want to air it all out in front of everybody because they might see it, but there are things that hurt emotionally really bad in a friendship way with some of those other bands that we were playing with last night, that I've never talked to some of those people about.
Right.
And that, like, man, my reality was a little hell every time I was around them because I chose to carry it. It wasn't hurting them. I wasn't getting justice by being mad at them for years at a time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, you weren't. You were just like
Yeah.
actually putting a strain on yourself.
The only person that was hurting was me.
If you hold grudges like that. I mean,
Luckily, I've kept that under wraps enough that they asked me to still play around them, to be
Right.
involved in things with them.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, man, I offended somebody last night. And I told you that story.
Yeah.
I offended somebody pretty bad, and most likely they will probably always think of me as like an asshole. Most likely if I don't go do something about it, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're not thinking about it anymore.
Maybe they don't, but if they do
But it's
hold
on
it
them.
against you,
It's
then
on them.
it's
Their
on them.
little-
Yeah,
their
it's on
little
them. It
world has
doesn't
hate in
matter,
it, you
and it's
know?
not something that you need to worry about because all it's going to do is drive you crazy thinking about it too much, and that's where it comes to. The people that matter the most are the people that don't hold the worst of you against you. You know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna have their moment where they're just dumb.
Yep.
I have been super dumb so many times.
Well, you've got to be able to say the stupid thing.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put it out in the world and let your buddy say, "Hey, man, I don't think you're
That's
right
pretty
about that."
stupid what you just did.
Yeah, or that's a stupid thing you said.
And then let it in there. I mean, like, in the same thing with
Yeah.
everybody else. Like, whenever your buddy says something stupid, you just let him say something stupid and be like, nah, bud, that was kind of dumb. And then leave it there.
The weirdest thing about this is that we're doing this on camera in front of what will be probably 150 people this episode.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
And
so, like, when that happens,
maybe we inspire a few people to forgive somebody, or maybe we inspire a few people
well,
to
that's
just
the
be
hope,
like,
is that they're going to listen to this, me and you actually be friends. Actually be friends with each other, and they go,
authentic
I'm going
content.
to be that kind of friend. And no doubt about it, that you can't ask for a friend like this. You can't ask for it. You have to be that friend. Mm-hmm. You know, like whenever, I'm gassing you up. Yeah, I'm telling you all the awesome
Yeah,
things
you gas
are.
me up a lot, and
But I'll tell
which is
you-
great. It makes me feel good, but I also don't want to be.
No, but you have to understand.
I am not a perfect human
Yeah.
in any sense of
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. I only see a little sliver of you. I
Yeah.
see the part of you that you come here and do this with me, and I see the part of you that we play video games whenever we're 12, and I see the part of you that, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
see that part. So I get the cream of the crop, Jared.
Right.
So like I'm no doubt about it. You have your issues. I
have a ton
see
of
them all.
issues, yeah.
But you know, it's okay that you have such a small penis. It's fine. But
Oh my God.
but the thing is that your goodness to me inspires me to be that, like like there's an archetype of good friend,
Yeah.
and that good friend includes like the way Woody treats Buzz in Toy Story 4, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it includes all the cast of Saving Private Ryan, and it includes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you know, Captain Miller, and it includes like, oh gosh, the way that Agent J and Agent K talk to each
Or
other
the way
on
Mel
Men in Black.
Gibson treats his sons in The Patriot or something
Yes,
like that.
and all those things are wrapped up, and one of the biggest characters in my thing that is an awesome friend is Jared Witter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so all those things go together, and I'm like, I am going to learn from this guy to let the small stuff slide because it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
And I'm going to major on the majors and do what you do to me that makes me feel good. That's what I hope somebody watching this realizes that they have to do to maintain friendships with each other. Not that you have to delete yourself or be something you're not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take the archetypal things in your life that are so awesome. Take your heroes, actual heroes, which is what sucks about how damn shitty movies are right now. We had movies with heroes in them that were like, I gotta be like that guy. I'm gonna be like that guy. You know? And set those up in front of us and say like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna aim in that direction today. Today I'm gonna be more like Captain Miller and less like Upham. I'm gonna be more like...
Upham?
the guy who
Yep.
like,
Yeah, I
literally
know.
sat- you
Yeah,
know.
from Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, he
Upham.
sat there and watched all his guys get killed, and then a Nazi came up and stabbed him.
I know. God, that was such
No, he stabbed a Nazi, but then he had to. He
That was
lived.
such a frustrating scene. Oh my God, it was such a frustrating scene. Seeing one of my favorite characters get stabbed in the chest while he just couldn't just balls up and just get up the stairs. Oh my God, it was so frustrating.
Yeah,
I hate watching. I love that movie, but I hate watching that scene.
yeah. We know that that's wrong.
Yep.
And the crazy thing in that movie is the tragedy is that Upham lived.
Well, I mean, he had like a moment at the end of it where he like killed the guy that got Tom Hanks. Like
Yeah,
there was-
after he was captured.
No. Upham never got captured.
No. After the Nazi that killed Captain Miller was
Captured by Upham.
captured by somebody else.
No, he was captured by Upham.
Oh, and then he just decided to shoot him instead.
And he shot him.
But that didn't fix it. He didn't fix.
It didn't fix-
Caparzo dying or whoever. The other guy, the dude
Right.
from New York.
The dude from New York, he still died, but like his timing of courage was bad, but he still got there. You know, I mean, like I guess
he
maybe
can't look
maybe
back.
that was like the message of I don't know what it was, but still that moment was, even though very frustrating because
Yeah.
he let our bud die, and then
Yeah.
he saw Tom Hanks get shot in the chest, and then he shot
Yeah.
the dude. I mean, that kind of bleeds into what we're talking about.
Is that you got to set up some heroes, and that you were a hero of friendship to me.
No, it bleeds into like people are gonna make mistakes,
Yeah,
and
Upham has to live with that.
we're not gonna hold it against him. Is what I'm saying.
No,
It's
he
like-
did. Yeah, you couldn't have.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, here's something wild. If you started out where I started,
What do you mean?
like if you came out of my mom's hoo-ha instead of yours,
Okay.
all right?
Yep.
And you had my DNA
Yeah.
and my dad, you would literally do exactly what I did. And you would have no choice, right?
Okay.
You most likely would make every decision exactly like I made them.
Okay.
And when you think of every human being that's ever lived ever that way,
They've got somebody influencing how they are in the end.
you start to be compassionate to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I do believe in free will. Like, I think that we do have agency and that it's our responsibility to choose wisely.
Yep.
But it's like it's like balanced on the edge of a knife. It could go either way, either free will or predestination. Like, who knows?
Right.
It's magic. It's magic that we feel like we can choose.
Yeah.
And so, when you chose to go with our friend, whenever I kicked you out of the band, well, inadvertently,
Yeah.
maybe we didn't have much of a choice, but we did. You know what I mean? I think the choice is to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I learned to be more loving. Maybe you learned to be more understanding. And to not
Yeah.
assume that it was just because I was with Danielle.
Yeah. Whoever.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah, and we both learned that we're never going to let something like that come in the way without talking about it.
No, I mean, even
Yeah.
in the moment, I wasn't unopen to talking about it. I just felt like you didn't want to in the moment.
Didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's. I wonder what I thought back then. Most of that was just me being afraid of what the Southern Baptist Convention was going to say,
Right. Being too worried about
what other people thought.
the perception that other opinions would be if you associated with that.
Yeah.
Which is
What we stood to
again,
lose.
which again is something that I've dealt with as well, which is why I've not been as open to create content just being authentically who I am and willing to do jokes that I think are funny.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to that point
Yeah.
and the content on this channel that we are creating together is
We're raw dogging it.
we're raw dogging it. That's a great way to put it, is like I'm sorry, Mom. It's like that's how it is. It's just like, if anything, they should be happy that they get to see this side of us. You know what I mean?
My raw dog is a Yorkie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's they should be like, all right. I get to see a recorded version of my son
Actually, how
with
it
his
is.
friends. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. I mean,
If you're listening to this and you've actually got this far into our podcast tonight,
and you've taken something from it.
yeah, I want to tell you one Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And if you have the deep friendship in your life that we've described and that we talk about frequently when we get to talk, just me and Jared, call those people and thank them for what they
Yep.
are in your life. And if you don't have that, you're not alone. There's loads of people that don't have friendship right now. And the only thing that I can tell you about that, about how to get and maintain amazing friendship, is that you can't find it. You have to build it, and you have to start with yourself. So become the friend that you wish you had.
It's good, Donnie.
And for me, it's like trying to be like Jared.
You butter me up too much, bud. You
I
butter
know.
me up. You butter me up too much. But this has been another podcast. What episode did we just do? 12.
would be
This is
13.
another podcast, episode 13.
I think.
Never missed a week. We will continue to not miss a week.
Gas up your homies.
Gas up your homies. Tell them what you love about them. Tell them that you're proud of whatever achievement they've gotten done. Donnie just got shared by Keen which was a band that we listened to as kids.
Our absolute
That's
favorite band.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's
freaking
crazy.
awesome. All right, this is the end of the episode. This is the end of the episode. We will see you on episode 14 next week. Thank you so much for following. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you next week.